Good afternoon, everybody. We are CarbonSight. My name is Ibrahim Alam.
I'm Chloe Gray. Seren Qasem.
And we also have two group members who unfortunately couldn't be here with us tonight, Jackson Descant and William Hayes. And our goal is simple, to track carbon emissions together through one central digital platform. So, Louisiana is investing $23 billion into carbon capture, utilization, and storage, or CCUS, which this is amazing. It's creating thousands of new jobs, and it's driving clean energy innovation across the state. But how are we regulating all of this? I mean, with so many people and industries involved, ranging from energy to biofuel, how will we manage to track this? I mean, the current system can't do it. Right now, companies disconnect through, or companies report through disconnected systems with inconsistent data, and then regulators have to spend hours of time, gathering this inconsistent and disconnected data, and the public has little to no visibility on what's going on. So with $23 billion invested, there's still no central unified reporting platform, and that's where CarbonSight comes in. Right now, it comes in. So our application is built on the foundation of three primary user roles. First, regulators, who can monitor emissions, compliance, and facility performance in real time. And then we have businesses, who can manage and track their emissions while also uploading documents for their compliance, and also receive AI-powered recommendations on how to improve their progress. And then finally, the public. The public now finally has the ability to actually see and track the carbon emissions in Louisiana by region and by industry. And they can see Louisiana's clean energy innovation in our goal towards striving for CCUS. Without further ado, let's get into our demo. So, as you can see, we have the three-pronged dashboard here with our sign-ins and the contact and about at the top. So we'll start with public first. So you go into the public dashboard, right? And then you can see we have filtering at the top, but we'll go back to that later. First, you have the four general cards and statistics. You get the total emissions rate, then you get the active facilities, the compliance rate, and the regions in the area. This is general statistics for them to see. Next, we have some graphs to help them understand what's going on. First, there's a line graph that can demonstrate the exact amount of emissions per year per industry. And then the pie chart shows you the percentage distribution between the different sectors and how much they're emitting. Then there's the regional breakdown telling you exactly maybe how many facilities are in Lake Charles and how much they're emitting. And then you can do the same for Lake Charles or Baton Rouge. Then the filtering system can go to a specific region. So let's say you only wanted to see Baton Rouge. Here, you can see the line graphs for specifically Baton Rouge by the industry, and then you can see its active facilities and the emissions rate it has. And then, let's say you wanted to filter by sector instead of region, right? So, I want to see what's going on in the energy sector. Exact emissions per year, and then the amount of facilities and emissions they have in every single region. Next, let's say you want to go back up and you want to filter by both. You can filter by region and sector. So let's say I want to see the exact emissions in New Orleans in transportation. And this shows you by millions of tons of CO2 how much they're emitting, as well as the active facilities and total emissions going on here. That is the public dashboard. Now I'm going to hand it off to Chloe for the business one.
All right, thank you, Eve. So we're going to get into the company dashboard. For this example, we're going to use Sasol, which is a Louisiana company. This gives a centralized view for the companies to look at their emissions data and their compliance status. So we're going to start with the emissions rate. This gives a general overview of their total emission summary as well as by facility. This builds up into the areas affected. So you can find for the specific company, where are your regions, where are your facilities, and specifically how are they impacting their area. We have compliance status, which tracks the tasks and deadlines. It gives a standing and an urgency level, so you know how important it is to get it done, as well as the requirements. This also builds to our active tasks. So it's kind of the same thing, but here you can actually submit documents, and these will go directly to the regulator portal. So it's direct access, you go straight to them, and it makes the task get done a lot faster. We have an overview, which shows recent activity for the company for different facilities. Documents, which is nice. If you have a document, maybe it's not for a specific task, but you want to keep track of it, you can have it here. And then the real world data, this is pulled from the Climate Trace API that we were given. It keeps the other companies unknown for privacy reasons, but it allows this company to compare their data with their competitors' data, basically so they can see how they can improve and beat out the competition in a way. Now we have our AI-powered recommendations. So these all have the same format. So it gives an action plan, a timeline, estimated costs, and expected benefit. This is important because not every company has the manpower or the financial means to dedicate someone specifically to focus on how can we improve these problems. You have to identify it and then make a task. But by giving this to them automatically, it incentivizes them to make these improvements. Finally, we have a chatbot where if anybody's using this page and they don't understand what they're looking at, they can ask questions about it, and it was trained specifically on data per company. So each company will have their own personalized chatbot that they can ask questions on. And I'm going to hand off to Seren.
All right, thank you, Chloe. Now we're going to move into the regulator dashboard. So the first thing we're going to do is sign in as Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. So it's just the same style layout as the company dashboard. You can see at the bottom here the total emissions in the statewide compliance trend. And regulators also have the ability to be able to see companies' specific metrics through percentages. And they can see emissions for each facility and document uploads and compliance issues as well as actions at the bottom. And then if they really wanted to hone into any specific company's details, then they're also able to do that as well, featuring stuff from the overview. And there's also a filter for status, what needs attention, what's compliant, and they can also search for a company, but be careful not to mistype because obviously nothing will pop up. We'll go back to our Sasol Chemicals company example, and it's just the same thing from the overview. And they also have the ability to be able to view the documents. They can view the documents and click the review button, so that'll help them with the next step if they want to reject or approve it, and they can also leave some comments for them. And whoever the regulator was from the team that approved its name will be there, and it'll also let them know that a reviewer is pending for what's next. And companies aren't the only ones that have actions, regulators do as well. So they have to make sure that they're starting investigations, resolving everything as quick as possible. And finally, we also have an AI assistant for the regulator, same as the company dashboard as well, just for basic assistance.
Thank you, Seren. So we wanted to end on a quote that really embodies